On this day in history, we remember the remarkable individuals who shaped our world. Welcome to Who Died Today in History, where we honor their legacies. From artists to leaders, their impact lives on. If you find their stories meaningful, like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay connected.
Thank you to all our amazing channel members for your generous support.
Nicholas Pryor, a veteran American actor known for his understated presence and refined performances, lived a long and accomplished life both on stage and screen. Born in 1935, Pryor became one of those familiar yet often underappreciated faces in film and television, best remembered for roles in Risky Business, Air Force One, and the television series Port Charles and Beverly Hills 90210. His death, when it occurred peacefully of natural causes late in life, reflected the quiet steadiness that defined both his career and his generation of performers. Pryor's passing did not provoke the frenzy of tabloid coverage that often surrounds celebrity deaths. Instead, it evoked a sense of nostalgia for an era when actors could build long, steady careers grounded in craftsmanship rather than spectacle. In a time when fame has become increasingly fleeting, his life and death served as a reminder of the enduring value of professionalism, humility, and artistic integrity. The natural manner of his passing mirrored the grace with which he had approached his work, without scandal, excess, or self-promotion. The immediate consequences of Pryor's death were felt most deeply among his peers and admirers within the acting community. Tributes highlighted his reliability as a character actor, the kind of performer who made every scene more believable simply by being in it. His death also prompted reflection on how supporting actors, those who rarely claim the spotlight, form the backbone of cinematic storytelling. In this sense, his passing invited a quiet reevaluation of fame itself, emphasizing substance over stardom. In the broader cultural context, Pryor's life and death symbolize a transition in Hollywood's values, from the studio-trained performers of the mid-20th century to the digital-age actors of today. His era valued discipline, versatility, and respect for craft, traits sometimes overshadowed in the current media landscape. Nicholas Pryor's legacy endures through the roles he left behind, each a small yet vital contribution to American film and television history. Humanity immortalizes figures like him not through grand monuments or controversy, but through the enduring power of their work. In every subtle gesture and honest line delivery, Pryor's artistry continues to resonate, reminding us that legacy is not always built on fame, but on the quiet pursuit of excellence that withstands the passage of time. Charles Rocket's death remains one of the more tragic and perplexing stories in Hollywood, a stark reminder of the fragility that can underlie even the most public success. Born Charles Clavery in 1949, Rocket rose to fame as an actor and comedian, best remembered for his roles in Saturday Night Live, Dumb and Dumber, and Moonlighting. His career, however, was marked by turbulence. After a controversial on-air incident during his time at SNL in 1981, Rocket's trajectory shifted dramatically, forcing him to rebuild his reputation in Hollywood's demanding and often unforgiving landscape. Rocket's death in 2005 was ruled a suicide. He was found with his throat cut on his Connecticut property. The violent and deeply personal nature of his passing shocked fans and colleagues alike. It seemed at odds with the persona of a performer known for charm and humor, underscoring the hidden struggles many face beneath the surface of fame. In an era when mental health in entertainment was rarely discussed openly, Rocket's death reflected a broader cultural silence, one that the industry has only begun to confront in recent decades. The immediate aftermath was marked by quiet tributes from those who knew him best. Fellow actors and comedians recalled his intelligence, wit, and warmth, painting a picture of a man whose creative spirit endured despite career setbacks. While his death did not spark widespread public conversation at the time, it stands today as part of a larger narrative about the pressures of Hollywood and the human toll of ambition and reinvention. In the years since, Rocket's legacy has lived on in the cult appreciation of his work. Viewers rediscover his performances with renewed empathy, understanding that behind the laughter often lies unspoken pain. His story contributes to an evolving awareness of how society treats mental health, failure, and fame. Ultimately, Charles Rocket's death invites reflection on humanity's complex relationship with memory and mortality. Through art and performance, we attempt to preserve the vitality of those who have left us, to capture their laughter, brilliance, and flaws in a way that transcends tragedy. In remembering Rocket, we recognize that even brief sparks of creativity can leave lasting light, illuminating the enduring bond between human vulnerability and artistic expression. Irving Penn's death in 2009 marked the end of an era in photography, a period defined by elegance, precision, and the quiet power of visual storytelling. Born in 1917, Penn became one of the most influential photographers of the 20th century, celebrated for his iconic portraits, fashion photography, and still lifes. Over a career spanning nearly 7 decades, he helped define the visual language of modernism, turning simplicity into sophistication and elevating commercial photography to the realm of fine art. Penn passed away at the age of 92 in his New York home, reportedly of natural causes. His death was serene, befitting the minimalist discipline he brought to his work. It reflected a life lived with meticulous control, a stark contrast to the often chaotic and rapidly changing world of fashion and media he helped shape. In an era increasingly dominated by digital immediacy and visual overload, Penn's passing symbolized the fading of a slower, more deliberate artistic philosophy, one rooted in patience, craftsmanship, and timelessness. The immediate consequences of his death were felt across the global art and fashion communities. Tributes poured in from Vogue, where Penn had contributed for more than 60 years, and from museums and galleries worldwide. His passing prompted a renewed appreciation for the artistry and discipline that defined mid-20th century photography. Exhibitions of his work multiplied in the years following his death, as curators and critics sought to remind new generations of the lasting influence of his aesthetic, a balance of technical rigor and emotional subtlety. Penn's legend was, in many ways, amplified by his passing. As digital photography became ubiquitous, his mastery of light, texture, and composition came to represent a lost art. His portraits of figures like Pablo Picasso, Audrey Hepburn, and Miles Davis remain benchmarks of character study, blending humanity with formality in a way few have matched. In reflecting on Penn's death, we confront how mortality redefines genius. His life and legacy illustrate humanity's desire to capture permanence through art, to hold on to the fleeting beauty of existence. Through exhibitions, retrospectives, and continued influence on visual culture, Irving Penn is immortalized not merely as a photographer, but as a guardian of simplicity in an increasingly complex world, proof that true artistry transcends both time and death. Polly Rawls, a distinguished American actress whose career spanned film, stage, and television, passed away in 2001 at the age of 87. Her death from natural causes marked the quiet departure of a performer whose steady artistry embodied the golden age of American theater and television. Rawls' passing, though not surrounded by public spectacle, reflected the dignity and resilience of an era when acting was grounded in craft rather than celebrity. Born in 1914, Rowles built her career through perseverance and depth of talent rather than fame. She appeared in films like The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, 1939, and gained recognition for her powerful Broadway performances in The Glass Menagerie and The Heiress. On television, she became a familiar presence through her many guest roles and later as the spokesperson for DuPont's Better Things for Better Living campaign. Her death, natural and peaceful, echoed the grace with which she approached her career. Steady, committed, and without the turbulence often seen in the entertainment world. The immediate response to Rowles's death came mostly from within the theater and television communities, where colleagues remembered her as a consummate professional. While her name may not have sparked mass mourning headlines, her loss served as a reminder of the quiet power of those who shaped the entertainment industry from within, not through fame but through enduring quality. Her passing highlighted the fading of a generation of performers who valued storytelling as an art form and who saw acting as a disciplined craft rather than a path to stardom. In a broader sense, Rowles's death invites reflection on the ephemeral nature of fame and the quiet immortality earned through genuine artistry. While many actors are remembered for controversy or spectacle, Rowles's legacy persists in the integrity of her work and the respect she commanded among her peers. Her life and death mirror the values of her time: dedication, professionalism, and humility, qualities often overshadowed in today's fast-paced entertainment culture. Through the continued performance of the plays she once illuminated and the preservation of her screen appearances, Polly Rowles remains a symbol of enduring artistry. Her story reminds us that memory and immortality in art are not always built through grandeur, but through grace, talent, and authenticity, proof that even the quietest voices can leave lasting echoes across time. Derek Guyler, the British character actor and radio performer, passed away peacefully in 1999 at the age of 85 in Brisbane, Australia. His death from natural causes brought an end to a long and distinguished career that had spanned more than 5 decades across radio, film, and television. Guyler's passing reflected the quiet decline of a generation of performers who had shaped British post-war entertainment. Artists who valued wit, precision, and professionalism over celebrity and spectacle. Born in 1914, Guyler began his career in repertory theater before finding his voice, literally, on radio. During World War II, he became a familiar sound to millions through BBC programs such as It's That Man Again, ITMA, where his crisp diction and dry humor captured the stoic resilience of wartime Britain. Later, he became a household face through roles in Sykes' Please Sir, and as the stern yet lovable headmaster in The Ghosts of Motley Hall. His career coincided with the rise of television as a national medium, and Guyler embodied the traditional British values of discipline, decorum, and understatement. When Guyler died, the immediate response from the entertainment world was one of affectionate nostalgia. While younger audiences may not have recognized his name, many older Britons saw his passing as symbolic, the curtain falling on a style of performance rooted in the civility and structure of mid-century Britain. His death did not alter the course of entertainment history, but it did prompt reflection on an era when humor was understated, authority figures were portrayed with warmth, and character actors like Guyler gave television its quiet dignity. Guyler's passing also speaks to the broader human relationship with mortality and memory. Unlike many stars, his fame was not built on scandal or excess, but on reliability and consistency, traits that resonate differently in today's age of fleeting viral fame. His death, calm and unadorned, mirrors the grounded humanity of his work, a reminder that legacies are often preserved not through noise, but through steadiness. Through reruns of Sykes, archived BBC recordings, and the affectionate memories of those who grew up with his voice in their living rooms, Derek Giler remains an enduring presence. His story illustrates how art, particularly the simple joy of laughter, can outlast time, turning even modest lives into lasting echoes in cultural memory. Gustav Gründgens, one of Germany's most prominent and controversial actors, died on October 7, 1963, in Manila, Philippines, under circumstances that remain partly mysterious. Official reports cited a drug overdose, specifically an accidental barbiturate poisoning, as the cause of death. Whether intentional or not, his demise mirrored the deep personal and cultural contradictions of his time, the tension between art and politics, conscience and compromise, and the haunting shadow of Germany's past. Born in 1899, Gründgens rose to fame during the Weimar Republic as an actor and director renowned for his mastery of classical and modern drama. His portrayal of Mephistopheles in Goethe's Faust became legendary, symbolizing both the seduction and moral corruption that would later define his own public image. During the Nazi era, Gründgens continued to work and even thrived within the regime's cultural structure, an act that would later earn him accusations of collaboration. Yet, he also quietly used his influence to protect fellow artists, illustrating the moral ambiguities faced by intellectuals under dictatorship. By the early 1960s, Gründgens was a respected but isolated figure, burdened by years of public scrutiny and personal disillusionment. His sudden death, far from home, occurred during a global era reckoning with the moral aftermath of World War II. It reflected not only the personal toll of living between guilt and artistry, but also the spiritual fatigue of a generation forced to navigate the ruins of its own complicity. The consequences of his death were immediate and lasting. In 1965, Klaus Mann's novel Mephisto, a thinly veiled critique of Gründgens, was republished and ignited fierce debate about the moral responsibility of artists under totalitarianism. The controversy cemented Gründgens' legacy not just as an actor, but as a symbol of the uneasy alliance between art and power. Gründgens' death and its aftermath reveal much about humanity's relationship with morality and memory. His life became a mirror through which post-war Germany examined guilt, forgiveness, and the limits of artistic freedom. Today, his performances endure in recordings and retrospectives, and Mephisto remains one of the most discussed cultural allegories of the 20th century. Through such works, we continue to immortalize not just his talent, but the complex humanity of those who lived and died within history's most turbulent moral storms. Mario Lanza, the charismatic American tenor and film star, died suddenly on October 7, 1959, in Rome, Italy, at the age of 38. His death was attributed to a heart attack, though speculation about its causes, ranging from obesity and poor health to possible complications from a crash diet, persisted for decades. Lanza's early death was both a tragic reflection of the pressures of celebrity culture in post-war America and a symbol of the toll exacted by the entertainment industry on its brightest stars. Born Alfred Arnold Kokotza in Philadelphia in 1921, Lanza's rise from working-class roots to Hollywood fame embodied the American dream. His powerful tenor voice and magnetic screen presence captivated millions, particularly in films like The Great Caruso, 1951, which made opera accessible to a mass audience. Yet the very fame that elevated him also became a source of torment. Lanza struggled with the conflicting demands of artistry and stardom, often clashing with studio executives and battling insecurities about his weight and image. By the late 1950s, he was living in Europe, seeking to revive his career away from Hollywood's suffocating control. Lanza's death in Rome just as he was preparing for a comeback, reflected the era's growing awareness of the personal costs of fame and excess. The post-war entertainment world valued glamour and productivity over well-being, and his demise served as a cautionary tale about the human limits behind public perfection. His passing shocked fans worldwide, with newspapers lamenting the loss of a golden voice silenced too soon. The immediate consequence was a wave of posthumous adoration. Record sales surged, and Lanza's recordings continued to inspire future generations of singers, including Luciano Pavarotti and Placido Domingo, who credited him as a formative influence. His legend grew even larger in death, as he came to symbolize the romantic ideal of the artist consumed by his own brilliance. Mario Lanza's death reveals humanity's enduring fascination with genius cut short, a reminder that the pursuit of artistic immortality often collides with mortal fragility. Through his films, recordings, and continued cultural influence, Lanza remains a voice that transcends time. His story endures in the collective memory as both a celebration of extraordinary talent and a reflection on the fragile balance between artistic passion and human endurance.